Hi, and welcome back. Today I will talk a little bit about Ambrose Bierce. Now, he did briefly serve in the Union Army during the Civil War, so he knows a bit firsthand about the brutality of that conflict. Now, also important for you to know about him is that he did work as a journalist in San Francisco, and he was friends with Mark Twain and Jack London. So we have this Western journalism connection here. And remember, journalism is very, very important in 19th century American writers because it did help them to support themselves while they were doing things other than just writing for newspapers or reporting what they saw in certain situations. And I think you can probably understand that there are some really strong connections between Mark Twain and Ambrose Bierce, both in content and maybe some in structure too. I think Twain is a bit more subtle, and I think he's a bit more cutting in his satire, just because it's more subtly folded into narrative. Ambrose Bierce is a little bit more of a hammer in that respect. Now, also interestingly, he did move to England for roughly 4 years or so, and he changed from a rough and tumble, Wild West humorist and journalist into somebody who was using a very high style of language. That means elevated diction, a lot of Latin and Greek-based words, and also more elaborate syntax or word order or sentence structure, and a lot more um, biting or cutting in his satire. Something like Oscar Wilde, but he was really taking that Oscar Wilde kind of style in terms of that cut and that wit and applying it to the Civil War and to the American scene. And very, very interesting. One of the great American literature unsolved mysteries. That should be a show, maybe. He did end up traveling to Mexico in roughly 1913, and then he vanished without a trace. Maybe he was part of the revolutionary force down there. The thing is, nobody really knows. Now, Bierce is also really well known as a satirist, and if you have a chance to pick up the Devil's Dictionary and to read how he writes about all kinds of very commonplace words, it's very, very, very funny and interesting and also enlightening. But what I want you to think of